In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Why, hello! Howdy, Chadwick.
Hey, Frank, what's happening, man?
Oh man, I'm good. I've been running around. I'm in the garage. I'm wearing an appropriate t-shirt, I think, for what we might be discussing today. Which
Clever.
is, yeah, I'm not only wearing a RADwood t-shirt, I'm wearing a RADwood sunburn. Um, from RADwood NorCal 2023. How about you? Did you apply and reapply, or how are you doing?
I applied. I didn't get to reapply, and I have a burnt forehead and a burnt neck. So,
Mm.
also a Radwood variety burn. So
Your neck,
that's a
your
good
back.
one.
Yeah, the back of my calves,
Mm.
and my crack are quite burnt.
Mm.
Um, I did a poor application of SPF 50. My nose is a little bit burnt. I've got some strategic burnage. Um,
Very nice.
but yeah, let's just spend some time talking about Radwood. We've done a Radwood recap before for
Mm-hmm.
last year's shindig in San Mateo. And just in case, and I feel like probably every single person that is listening, playing along at home, has some semblance of an idea about Radwood, what Radwood is. How would you describe and explain for those who aren't in the know about what Radwood is?
Yeah, like a simple primer would be a 80s and 90s centric car show revolving not just about the cars, also involving culture, like clothing, music,
Hmm.
everything that was cool during the 80s and 90s, and it kind of brings all that into one big show, and it's well curated. It's a pretty cool event. The venues are pretty neat. This is definitely one of the best venues I've ever seen. We'll get into that in a little bit,
Yeah.
but started by some really cool dudes. You know them, we know them. We've been on their podcast, the DWA guys, for sure.
Yep.
And it's always cool catching up with them. But it's pretty much just a celebration of 80s and 90s stuff, the kind of stuff we're into anyway by default. So it
Mhm.
works out, and they've really like the term Radwood is almost like like the Kleenex of 80s and 90s
Yes.
car shows, right? Like it's just I always forget that term. I should really put that in my mind somewhere, but it's really cool, and it's like everybody
It's the
knows it.
saran wrap of,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Xerox, if you will. And it's just super cool. And we went this Saturday, and it was fantastic because it's been a while since I've been. I went to 2019 was the last Radwood I
Okay.
did. So it's been a little bit.
Wow, like it's funny to think like, oh, that's not that far, and be like, COVID wasn't even a thing.
It's 4 years, my
Whoa.
friend. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's bizarre. And then I went last year and I kind of gave a recap of what was going on, and so thankfully we were both in
Oh.
attendance for 2023. And yeah, it is funny to think about like the term Radwood. It truly has like entered the lexicon, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, when it comes to car idiots like ourselves, where you see like, you'll see like an ad for something, like Radwood ready. And it's like, oh, okay. Like it's a universal term. And even if the cars are road and it's not ready for anything besides
Usually the
uh,
case.
a part out. But um, very cool show. Probably my favorite, like just traditional, pseudo traditional car show.
Mhm.
I just got hit with a June bug. Garage problems. There, I'll put this empty can on top of it. You're taking a timeout. The just the like aura of the show. It's
Mm.
like super laid back. Like it's you'll hear some stuff where it's like, oh, it's laid back, and it's like everyone is there. Like half the people there don't know what half the other cars are. Haven't seen them, didn't know they made them, and everyone is just truly there to have a good time and giggle. Like the level of whimsy is super high.
Oh, so
We
cool.
saw celebrities. We did see we saw Joe Montana
We
himself
did.
came in on a Honda. Was it a Spree or no, an Elite? I think it was an Elite 150. That's like
It
the little
was an
scooter with the
elite, I
pop-up
believe.
headlight.
Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't actually. I mean, maybe it was actually Joe Montana Jr., a younger gentleman. But yeah, he was in the full like down to the cleats, like the full entire Joe Montana uni with the helmet and everything. And it's
The
like that kind of vibe.
the entire time in some considerable heat. So shout out to
Yes. A
Big
very
Joe there.
spicy day for San Francisco, which is where it was. Like, I think this is the first one that's ever been like in San Francisco proper. I
Dude,
think.
yeah, I think so. And then the location, I mean, we might as well blow it out of the water now.
Yeah.
It was all on a pier, literally in the
Mhm.
shadow of the Bay Bridge with a
Yeah.
naval ship in the background,
Very
like
cool.
right at the end of the pier. And it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
Piers 30 and 32, which is like nothing. It's funny because it's just like concrete pad.
mhm.
Like on paper, you're like, oh, there's not even power. There's like no amenities. But in practice, it's just super pretty. It's very fitting. I truly hope they do it there again because it's going to be hard. Like, I don't know how you top that. Like, what, Fort Baker or something? Like, I don't know. Um, but I'm really happy with the show. I talked to some of the guys, the organizers, Brad, Warren, Lane, and Art, and they seemed to be pretty happy. I didn't like get the full rundown on how they felt about it, but there was a good air
Mm.
kind of afterwards, and so it seemed like it was quite a success. Um, you seemed like you had fun. You enjoyed the festivities.
I did. And for like the first time I was a spectator, I didn't have a
Mm.
car to bring, guy with too many car problems, but I got rid of two of my like RADwood
Whoa.
cars that previous
Oh
weekend.
boy.
So both of which would have been fantastic candidates. Probably the 300ZX more than the Miata
Yeah.
for period stock, perfectly correct for the time. But dude, speaking of cars, I wanted to buzz through some of your personal picks, maybe
Ah,
just
man.
name we'll go back and forth. Name a car that stood out to you, Frank, that really like was your siren calling you.
You know what? Yeah, then we can volley a few things back and forth. The one that really, and there were a number of cars that I'd seen before, whether it was at a prior Radwood event or whatever. Um, the one vehicle that absolutely just had me aghast was that like kind of not quite cornflower blue, kind of powder blue. It was like an 82 or an 83, I think, Toyota 4x4 pickup,
Yeah.
which was, when I say every nut and bolt, I truly, truly mean every nut and every bolt was either new or as new.
Yep.
Um, just a complete, the amount of hours into that thing is just uncountable. And it had what I'm assuming, I didn't like touch it and poke it full of holes and like start looking for bar stickers, but um, it looked like a complete like California smog legal bar refed, what I thinking is a Toyota 2.7. Is that the three? I think it's a 3RZ FE, like Tacoma truck motor.
Right.
Like complete, like all the smog equipment was there, and every single component
Yeah, it had a
was
secondary air
new.
pump and everything. It was
Yeah, I
wild.
mean, it just like the steering wheel looked new. Every knob, every component looked branched. Like I just staggeringly nice.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And that's the one. There were a lot of stuff that sticks in my craw, but that one is like the one that was just it's too good. It's just too good.
Mm-hmm.
It's too good. That's my vote.
Yeah, I mean, that's a true nuts and bolts restoration, right down to the meaning
Which
of
is
that
not which
phrase.
is not normally like my style, but that thing was just so impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Cool. Like it's a little bit of a resto mod. It's just super cool. I agree with you. That one stuck out for me too. But I picked the 89 Isuzu Trooper RS. And for you not in the Isuzu Trooper zone, which is probably 99% of you, it is a shorter wheelbase. So it is a two-door, but it's a shorter wheelbase. The only Trooper offered like that for
That one
1
was
year,
cool.
1989, in red. It has the 2.6 liter four-cylinder, the iTech Isuzu engine, which is fantastic. I have it behind me in this guy. And mine's a two-door, but mine's a regular wheelbase. That short wheelbase
Right.
is very interesting looking. And it's a 5-speed manual. Just so cool. You don't see those. I mean, you don't see Isuzu Troopers, and the RSs are pretty damn rare. So I was super pumped to see that. I was kind of in shock a little bit when I saw it, but real nice truck.
Yeah, super cool. I have like that was. It's funny. I always think back like, well, what did I take pictures of? Because
Yeah.
but silly, I'm like, I take pictures of. That's what I do. Like I'm a photographer. I take pictures of cars. I don't like taking pictures of cars at car shows.
Mm,
And so if I take a picture of it, it's not like because I want to have a pretty picture of a car because I feel like it's hard to achieve those at a car show. I take a picture of it because it's like, what incarnation is this? And
hmm
that was one I took a picture of. Was that like I truthfully don't think I've ever seen another one of those in the wild.
No, no.
Period.
I don't think they
Um,
exist in the wild, to tell you the truth.
I don't. How many did they make?
It's pretty limited. I mean,
Like
like I said, it was just,
hundreds?
yeah, and it was just that year,
Man,
So
yeah, really super cool. I really enjoyed that thing. Um, it's almost like it's almost like the predecessor to the Via Cross, which there was a Via Cross there. There was a yellow, impossibly clean Via Cross,
yes.
which it kind of makes me want to find a Via Cross.
Ah,
I kind of want one. I don't know.
I
They're
think
cool.
the Via Cross is funny because it's so abstract looking. I like the Troopers because they're so boxy, and you know me, I'm all about that boxy SUV look.
No, they are, but like it's so unboxy, right? Like I'm a fan of
It's
the boxiness.
too
Hold
far.
on, bear with me. Choo! We're
Oh,
recording that. I'm not cutting
bless
that
you,
out. I'm not
bless you,
cutting
my
that out.
child.
That bad. All of you guys get to ride that ride with me.
That was
The
preferring a Via Cross right there.
exactly. That was the body rejecting the idea of a Via Cross. But no, like Via Cross, it's so anti-boxy. It's not. It's probably more roundy even than like an X90, Suzuki X90.
Or an SC430 or something super bulbousy.
Sort of, but in like SUV form, you know.
True, true.
So
Well,
I don't know.
90s versus 80s, right?
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Via Cross, like the grill kind of looks like a snake with some fangs. I
I
don't know.
like the weirdness of them, but yeah. And they were only automatics, which is kind of like,
Eh,
me. You know how pure I am.
yeah,
I'm
in
horrible.
an SUV, I can stomach an automatic, but I'm weird like that. What else? Other than me waxing poetic about Via Crosses, what else? What else was
Yeah, Via
was
Cross, that was a super clean one. I'll agree with you on that one. Two of my favorite ones, and my ex-girlfriend actually called them out, is because she is Japanese. So the Crown in the Century, in absolutely mint condition, down
yes,
to having the doilies on the seat. Just fantastic, like
yep,
presentation. And you just don't see them in that condition over here. I mean, those were imported and then like absolutely had to be in like brilliant condition
yeah.
and well
Well, they
kept.
were livery vehicles, so it's not like they were like. I mean, they were probably kept relatively clean, but they weren't.
Someone
They
put
weren't
some
truly
time.
looked after.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
paint was gorgeous. It was ridiculous. And the interior was fully stock and really nice looking. And man, what a comfy place to spend some time. And I just got a kick out of those. You don't see, I know they sell the Crown now, which is hilarious. Have you seen one? Have you sat in
I I,
one?
fi- I finally saw one
They're so
alive on the
weird.
road.
It's
Um,
weird.
It's weird. It seems it's like the ultimate like boiled down homogenation of every possible car. Like, okay, we want it to be tall like an SUV, but handle like a car and have good fuel economy as a hybrid, and it's got to have a hatchback, and it's got to have a roomy back seat, and it's got to have nice appointment, and you just boil all of like the things that anyone would ever want into like a soup, and you
Sure.
get the Crown.
And I think that's because the Crown was historically something you could always get a million variations of, and they were only going to make one shot and call it good here, because there was a ton of different variations of the Crown. If
Yeah,
you, I went to Hong Kong not too long ago,
cool.
and all the taxis there are Crowns still, and it's like, but they're the old ones. It's kind of cool. But yeah,
And then
just seeing those two was so cool, and the driver with his proper attire on.
yeah, shout out to Rich Chen. That's who that is.
Yeah,
And
fantastic.
he was in full driver form.
Even the taxi light on top was authentic. So they were definitely
Yes,
service vehicles before, and then God, it's
yeah,
so clean though.
yeah, really, really fun. Yeah, impeccably white doilies. Um,
Ridiculous.
there's got to be like a real term for those, right? I call them seat doilies. I'm sure
That's
other
what I
people.
call them, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure there's a term.
there's probably some really cool, some really special, fun term for them that I
Wait,
don't want to like try and make up because I'll just sound like a monster, like mocking someone's culture, and I'm
you
not going to
will.
do that. Not
You
today. Um, man, like it's funny going back and just thinking, it's like, wow, I still can't believe there was that, you know, two-door Trooper. Wait, there was also a two-door 4Runner. Like there was a
Oh
two-door
yeah,
second
that
gen
was nice.
4Runner that was there. And um there was a two-door, although it was a homebrew, and I'd seen it before. I don't think at Radwood, but I think just like out and about, was that like 83 or 84 Toyota Tercel wagon
Mm-hmm.
that was chopped, that was like lifted and yoked up and then chopped into a quote unquote like standard cab pickup version with like a stamped steel tailgate and all of this. And it's very Mad Maxy build,
Yeah.
and it almost not in the spirit of Radwood, almost just because it's
Mm.
almost more like what is it? Like the Gambler 500 build, like battle car type thing.
Mm.
But it's still super cool, and I'm super
Such a
glad
cool
that it was
car.
there. I love the yellow, orange, red over white, like the Iron Man, Ivan Stewart motif almost on the paint job with it. That was another good one. There was a lot of um, look at me, I'm just naming all truck and truck adjacent
We've named a lot of truck. Yeah, because I
items.
started off with the Trooper too. Dang,
Yeah.
getting truck like up
And so
here.
that's another one. Do you have any non
I
trucks?
do.
Oh, cool.
The
What do you got?
Mitsubishi Expo of Rad Report
Mm,
fame.
yep.
Super clean Expo. I love those early Expos with the two-tone paint. I think
Yep.
they seem so cool. And then manual transmission, of course. It was cool. Did you check out the wheels on it though, Frank? Like deep dive on those wheels.
I didn't. I remember the vehicle. It was very clean. It was a longer wheelbase one. I don't remember the wheels. Aaron from Ride Report, if you're listening, please chime in and let us know
So
about your wheels. What did
Oh,
he
I
explain them
know.
to you?
I
You got
know.
you got
Yeah,
the skinny?
we had a very long conversation, so I had to guess what they were. And then
Ooh.
he said they're not from Mitsubishi. So I realized, well, what's the other car that carries the same lug pattern? It's Volvo. So they're old Volvo off an older S40, but they put Mitsubishi center
Ah.
caps on them.
Oh, okay. So like the first gen S40.
Correct. And they
Got
fit
it.
perfectly. And I remember, I
Oh,
don't know if those were BBS. A lot of Volvo wheels from the late 80s, early 90s were made by BBS, actually.
sure.
So the center cap fit, same size, hub and all that. So it's just kind of cool that they put the Mitsubishi badge on there. And
There you go.
to me, they look like old Lancer wheels. They were kind of cool, but matches the style perfectly.
Well, there you go. Now you've got an idea for your car,
Oh no,
right? It's the same.
that thing's keeping Steelies, baby.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it should. Those have been 200 plus thousand miles on that thing. It should wear its original steelies.
All original.
Yeah, that was cool. And there were two because there was also a short wheelbase car.
Yeah, the LRV, which they're totally different vehicle, which is hilarious. They're totally different vehicles. They just use the Expo name, which is hilarious. And an LRV was like the light recreational vehicle, where the Expo was a full size minivan.
Right. But do they not share drivetrains?
I don't think so. I think theirs had a 2.4 Mitsubishi in it, and the Expo LRV and the Eagle Summit come with a 1.8 single overhead cam.
Right. Interesting. But I think JDM wise, you can get both of them all-wheel drive,
I'm
four AGs.
turbocharged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not 4AG, sorry, 4G63.
Toyota power plants over there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the one is like the RVR, and then the LRV is
There's
the Chariot.
a
I think
bunch
it's
of
the
weird
Chariot.
variants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that's the
lot of
turboed
really
one.
fun. Um, yeah, I mean, it's sort of countless. I feel like we're giving shout outs now. Shout out shout out to my guy Alex of four-door JDM Type R fame. Pretty car. Just Integra Type R,
Mm-hmm.
97, I think it is. Maybe 96. I think it's a 96 Integra Type R JDM with like 16,000 miles, and it's a sedan, which is
Championship
super
white.
rare. Yep, and incredibly clean,
Yeah.
and just cool because it's just like the Type R. I mean, that's the way to buy a Type R, right? If you're gonna buy a non-USDM Type R,
Yeah, because you can
the
buy the coupe
sedan.
here,
And you can buy the coupe here. I think they're rarer as a sedan as compared to a coupe.
Hmm.
And they're
I would
what?
agree with
You
that.
probably
Yeah.
get a 50% discount on it because it's You know, it's a sedan. Give me the sedan. Performance is effectively the same.
Yeah, I like how Integras look. Like, if I was going to GSR it, I would definitely go sedan. I actually like the look of the sedan better and the
Agreed.
functionality. But
Yep.
dude, yeah, if you're going to go Type R and you're going to import it, you might as well go four door.
That's right. That's right. If you want a hyper clean 16,000 mile, which is like 30,000 kilometer or whatever is 27,000 kilometer Integra Type R sedan, message us here at the pod. We can connect those dots. But that thing was just cool.
Super nice.
Like freaky nice.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me want one, but I need I can't be trying to buy every single thing because A, I can't afford it. B, I don't have the room. C, that would be contrary to a very recent episode that we just did about selling everything. Damn it.
Right.
How about you? Was there anything you almost put in your back pocket and took home with you?
So yeah, I'm super looking now. Well, there's a couple things that came out of this. So me and my significant other both picked cars we want to own very soon, and we've talked about mine quite a bit. I really want a first gen MR2. I've been talking about how it's weird that I haven't owned an MR2. I did a review on the second gen. I love the second gen, but the first gens always are just that much more for me. I like this. I think the styling is just out of this world. And man, seeing those clean ones, those absolutely like mint interior, like that black supercharged one, it just, and there were a few clean ones there. And just, I know the supercharged ones are probably like unobtainium at this point to find a clean one for a good price. They're up there, dude.
I don't know. You just sold 3 cars. You can decide to be like hyper frivolous and not use it on actually anything that will genuinely improve your life, and just shoot that whole load all over a supercharged MR2. You can do that.
It would be cool, but I will get one someday for sure because they're just awesome, man. And like that thing is never going to be worth less money. Like they're only going from here. So it's a good buy. And they're, Toyotas, they're sports cars, they're mid-engine, they're rear-wheel drive, all the fun things.
Yep.
The other car that made our list is a early Volkswagen Cabriolet.
Yeah, buddy.
Which, geez, man.
The bitch basket.
Yeah, we started looking. I found like 3 acceptable ones, passable, but boy, you're looking at like 7 to 9 for like I said, passable. Like cosmetic issues, interiors weren't too good on those, believe it or not. And I know it's not too hard.
Just like to crack and stuff.
Dash likes to crack. The seats don't hold up well. The tops need to be replaced. But other than that, and the paint's not very good. If you don't get a white or something, the paint tends to go. But looking at those, so that's our short list of cool cars because we saw damn cool cars there. Because there were good examples of each. There was some impeccable, like well-maintained and restored cabriolets there. That just
that white on white was silly.
That was the one, white on white. It looks like no one sat in the seats. It's the buttons even looked good if you look at the instrumentation.
What a color
buttons.
combo. White on white.
Well, then you know what they say. If your cabriolet isn't white, it's not right.
So, okay. I thought we were gonna go more cocaine abuse reference more than thinly veiled
subtle
racism. Yeah. Well then.
Well played.
Yes. Well played.
MR2s and cabriolets. That's a good combo.
How German. And I will say I generally agree. Like the first gen MR2 is the one, especially supercharged, and I know we've discussed about it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, there was that incredibly clean 94 turbo that was the gray metallic exterior with the gray leather interior.
Yeah, super low production number.
Very clean. It had like 70,000 miles. It was for sale. There wasn't a price. I'm sure it's deeply out of my league. And it, oh boy.
I bet you it's around 25K. If I was going to put a number on it, that thing's 25.
That probably would bring it, but I bet
rare color.
I bet the ask is more.
I don't know.
Those 94s, 94, 95 for the last 2 years in North America, and the production numbers were low.
3S GTE engine in that, right?
Yep. And it had the updated later style 5-spoke wheels. And all the things that come with the later car. I mean, it was completely stock. The leather was perfect. Ah, boy. That's another find another one car. I don't know that you would be able to. It's not my favorite color, but it was so clean. It still looked great.
Yeah.
And you know, if all of a sudden everyone I cared about fell off a cliff, and I suddenly only had to worry about myself and not carrying anyone with me,
That's the car.
that would be the car. So
They're
if
super
there's like a
fun.
double lightning strike real quick, and I'm suddenly by myself, you know, but it's incongruent with the S2000, so like I wouldn't be able to bring it home, and that makes me sad inside.
Those two numbers, like the MR2 Turbo I reviewed was the second gen, like we're talking about, was
Yeah.
the same performance specs of an S2000. So they get there in different ways, like
Absolutely different ways. Yeah.
Supercharging mid-engine, so you get like it's a lot more snappy than and some would say snap oversteery than the S2000 for sure. It's more of a handful.
I don't know. The S2000 is pretty known for snap oversteer.
Dude, but look up
both
those
the early ones. Yeah.
The early MR2 turbos are like notoriously bad, and it's because it has such a short wheelbase.
Worse. I wonder which ones are more notorious.
I bet the MR2 completely.
I don't know. I mean,
I put money on it. Mid-engine, dude. If you
just the eras, I guess too, right?
Like, yeah, mid-engine you let off, and that weight just kind of goes in that neutral area, and that rear end can get really light if you don't have good tires, or it can be scary. I remember my NSX is like that, super light in the front. If you weren't smart about how you manage the weight of your vehicle, you get a little loose. My Cayman S was even more fun because the tires were bald, so I would just left off oversteer for fun corner exits. Yeah, that car was so good though.
Couple of those there.
Yes, there were some pretty modified. Didn't see any like super stalkers, but God, they're so fucking expensive now.
Yes, a few really clean Corrados.
I was going to mention Corrados before we went there, and that was kind of I wanted to ask that question to Camisa and be like, listen, when should we all start hoarding clean Corrados? Because he knows his stuff with the European, especially Volkswagen stuff. And I'd be curious to see. Probably yesterday, and I'm not talking about G60s. I'm thinking more like VR6s, like a low mileage, super clean original.
SLC, yeah.
Yeah, VR6 powered. I kind of feel like they're still undervalued big time for what they are.
I think they're undervalued. I've sat in one. I've never driven one.
I drove a G60, so I really can't say. I've driven a million VR6s, but cars, but not a Corrado.
Yeah, my understanding is they're just like, to drive. Like
they're decent. Yeah.
Okay, but like
it's like a modern Scirocco. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd want to drive one, but they make good noises. They're very pretty. I just really enjoy the styling of those cars.
In a bright color, like you get them in yellow. Get a VR6 in yellow.
Do that. All right, let's find one. That's not at a car show or a G60 or $1 million or broken. So
that's
kind of hard to do.
Short list, but we can make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. What else was there? I saw 2 cars that I sold on Cars and Bids, so that was fun. There were some alums there that were the car donation cars that I sold. One an '87 Volvo 740 with low miles on it. It's up to 40,000 miles on it now, so it's gone 3,000 miles in a year or whatever. I didn't get a chance to see that guy, but I did get a chance to talk to a guy where I sold a '93 Mercury Sable in teal. So that guy was there. That car was there, so that was fun. I thought I saw it was a clone of, but it wasn't my actual Geo Metro convertible. In competition blue, 5-speed manual. It didn't have the little squiggly. That was a dealer add-on item on the quarter that mine did. And mine had a little bit over 100,000 miles. This one had like 96 or something.
Okay.
So that was fun. I thought I saw it coming and I was like, no way. But
it's back.
Man, it's just like, I don't know, we could just sit here and wax poetic forever.
Yeah, it's such a cool show. And like they're like, honestly, like whatever you're into, you're gonna find it there. Like there's like exotic type cars, there's performance focused cars, there's turd boxes, there's odd weird stuff that you will just question how the hell it survived. And those tend to be my favorites. But
the what do you call it? The Cavalier.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
It's actually it's like a tiny screwdriver.
Oh, okay. Look at
something. I never throw those away. You ever get like a piece of furniture and something that, like, it comes with its own little tool?
I didn't even want to tell you
with the screwdriver. I've got like a dozen of these from
my hoarding tendencies. It's like that and like random Allen wrench sizes that came with random furniture.
Yeah, they're all unmarked and you have no idea what it's for. And it's like it's made out of like pot metal. It's like designed to fall apart.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the Cavalier Z70, Z24, that was very clean with the digital dash and all that. That was really cool.
Super cool.
One thing, not my style of car at all, to the point where it would be very difficult for me to drive it. Like that's how not into it I am. But super happy that it was there, and super like into it in theory. Is that slant nose
I knew
G
you were gonna say it.
body 911 that was super lowrider out, like
Yeah.
extreme, like 15 layer candy paint job with all of the things on mini Dayton's,
Full audio
full
platform.
audio, like
It's super
all these
cool.
extra, all this extra speakers cut into everything with like shiny gold trim and grills over every speaker, and it just the full lowrider treatment. And I'm so happy it was in that car, because it's like Porsche sacrilege to do anything, any one of those things to that car.
Dude, I'm
And
down
it
with
had all
Porsche.
of the things.
I'm down with any acts that are sacrilege to Porsche. I think that's fun. I
100%.
think
Like that's
good for
why I'm like,
them.
yeah, same with the, if that was a, you know, a 308 GTB, like a Ferrari, and it was
A
done like that,
Jaguar
I'd be like,
E-Type. No,
yeah.
that's too
Well,
painful.
they made a lot of. I think they kind of made a lot of E-types, so I would be okay with it. Now, it'd be one thing if it was just like, yeah, 288 GTO or a
True.
Mira or something like that. It's like literally hacking it, unless it was drug out of a swamp. But like, I don't know. Like, I was very happy to see that car, and it was cool that there was like, and there was another lowrider with it. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a Caprice or something. Um,
Yes. Yes.
but it's cool. Like, oh yeah, like OG lowriders were there too. You know what I
Something
did
for
see?
everyone.
Makes me a little bit sad though. Well,
Mitsubishi
no, I take
Galant.
it back. I saw really one, all that. Um, but I only really saw a single, um, like mini truck, and it was, I think, the one that won Radisson show last year, which was like the super chopped up S10 with like the matching BMX bike in the back, and it was like white with neon green and purple.
Okay.
But I want more mini trucks, man. I want the mini trucks to come back.
Dude, what about F bodies? I didn't see a lot of F bodies either. I like me some F
I
bodies.
saw I
Hmm?
saw like one like mid 80s like mid spec stock like Formula Firebird.
Yeah,
Um
I saw that too.
and I want to say I saw like one IROC, like a convertible that was like
Oh,
slammed.
I didn't even see that one. Yeah.
I don't think my brain's making that up.
Chimera dreams. Well,
You know what there wasn't a lot of?
what?
Like Chrysler like K car era turbocharged stuff, like your Shelby Turbo Z that you had.
Mm,
I didn't
what
really
a cool
see
car.
any of that stuff.
Those things are unicorns now. Yeah, they just fell apart and they were cheap and
Like no
no
Omnis,
omnis.
no Chargers, no any of that,
Mm, I'm gonna
and not a
exit.
lot of DSMs.
Not no.
Did you
I
see any?
I don't think I saw a single 4G63 powered car there.
I did see there was one Evo 4, a white Evo
Yes.
4.
Okay, fair enough. But I meant USDM
Right, but
4G63.
that's it.
I
Like
none.
nothing. That's an atrocity. That's a sad.
God
Quick,
damn it.
get us out of this hole
Yeah,
before I
let's segue.
sit here
Let's
and like get
segue.
angry about.
Well, here's our segue. It's a topical one because obviously we do a little thing called the Automotive Print Ad Quiz Game
Club.
Show, which you're going to explain to our listeners. But we focus on 80s, 90s, early 2000s
We
cars.
do.
So it's thematic with Radwood. Would you mind? I'm going to get the
Yes.
ad queued up, Frank. If you could explain to our listeners our game
Oh,
that we have to
can I?
explain every time.
It is because I assume that every person listening to
Mm.
our podcast is listening to it for the first time, and not because I'm trying to be polite, but just because how dare anyone come back to this messed up dog and pony show that's both not topical and offensive to most. And as part of that, it is going to we're going to play our game where Chadwick here is going to find some sort of a print ad from the 80s, 90s, the mid 2000s, probably early 2000s, if we're being honest. He's going to read
Oh,
the
snap.
type copy from that ad, and it will be incumbent upon me to try and guess what make, model, and ballpark year we are talking about. He's going to redact out the overly identifying information From this advertisement, I will get 3 guesses and 10 minutes. I can ask for a hint or two between guesses if I don't get them right, which isn't going to happen. Chadwick, you ready to start reading to me?
Of
Dog?
course, man. So
Bro?
let's set the scene right now, my friend.
Ooh.
2-page spread. First,
Ooh, full spread.
probably a third of the advertisement is a kind of text section. The other half is the driver's side rear 3/4 angle of the car moving down the road at some speed.
Oh, carrying
So here we go, my friend.
velocity. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we are unable to accept Formula One vehicles in trade, is how the
Ooh.
ad starts. Not even Formula One drivers spend all their time on banked tracks. So, to make the transition from speedway to freeway, we suggest the Blank, a new limited production sports sedan from Blank, one of Blank's premier customizers. So, good little hint there. Starting with a Blank, the engineers of Blank bore, stroke, tune, want to say a penis joke in there, and otherwise refine the car
What do
with
you not to cut you off, but what do you do to your penis? You bore and stroke it?
mostly
Don't bore it.
stroke.
Don't
Sometimes
bore it.
you have
Please
to if you
don't
get into some
do not
trouble.
bore.
You get
No
into
boring.
trouble.
And don't tune it. It's not a fork.
You
Okay?
have to tune it.
Don't hit it with a little hammer. Would it be a ball peen hammer, I suppose? Anyways, we're going off track. Carry on.
Ball penis. Refine the car with a clear bias towards fun. The result, here's your spec data. Write it down. The result is a 268 horsepower sedan with the exuberance of a true high performance machine and a 0 to 60 clocking 6.4 seconds to prove it. But since it's a Blank, the Blank offers such amenities as Recaro sports seats, black leather upholstery, and burl walnut trim.
Okay.
So if you currently own a Formula One vehicle, think of the Blank as a worthy second car. After all, you do need a way to get to and from the track. Frank, what are we dealing with today?
So all right. I think I know what it is.
Shoot from the hip. We are on a time crunch tonight.
Is it
Let's hear it.
Look, I'm assuming it's silver on the ad, yeah?
The ad's black and white, so it is a monochromatic
okay
car.
I believe this is 1995. It said new. Mercedes Benz C36 AMG. Final answer, Bob?
So to make the transition from speedway to freeway, we suggest the C36, a new limited production sports sedan from Mercedes-Benz and AMG. Good job, my friend. A rare AMG, a cool AMG, and I think a underrated AMG because it is a super cool inline 6 powered rear wheel drive sports sedan. If it had a manual, I know, but
that's
cool car. Very rare.
I like those cars a lot. I like those chassis a lot.
Good chassis.
I've never driven a C36 or 43, but I have driven some of like the lesser derivatives. It just is like a decent automobile. I like them. They're built well. The turning radius is like super tiny. You can make a U-turn in your own driveway.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I like those cars. And I would. They were of the era where Mercedes-Benz still made things that weren't completely made out of trash, and some of them towards the end run got a little bit more trashy, but like well built. I would trust them as far as reliability. So yes, let's go buy one of those two. Add it on the list.
Dude, totally cool. Like 300 and something for sale in the US ever. So very low number production car, and bummer that it's only an auto, but inline 6 action, baby, just like a E36 M3, right?
I'm sure you can manual swap that. Go find a wrecked Crossfire with a manual and harvest what you need. I think you can probably make that
fair
work.
enough. I bet you could. Cool. So good job, bro. Man. That's a good one. I figured we need to shout out that rare AMG. I feel like we never do AMG cars. So
no, I wanna say we've maybe done. I don't remember if it was that one or the C43. I think when we had the Vault Auto guys, I want to say we did. I don't think the same ad, but one of those cars. I don't remember if it was that or the 43. Either way, a celebration I think is in order. Yeah. Should we abuse things?
Yeah.
I mean, we always abuse it or lose it.
Let's rapid fire abuse this time. Let's get it.
Ooh.
Let's get it in our veins and get it over
Ah,
with.
boy. Okay, let me see if I can just rattle off some stuff here that I've done in the last week hyper quickly.
Your PCP usage,
I
Project
will
Car Progress for those listening.
I will act like an actual speed freak and see what I can rattle off here.
Let's go.
Project Car Progress. The Lexus still is hit by a boat. I went to a wrecker in Sacramento because they had a perfect, already painted bumper in the exact same spec with everything I needed, and they also had another wrecker down the street had the 2 taillights that I need. Great. Drove there. Taillights were both damaged and full of mud and stuff because apparently they were trying to sell cars off a flooded car, as the parts guy ended up telling me after I was there to purchase them. Don't do that, part people. Don't part out flooded cars. It's bad, especially when it's various electronical bits and pieces. Bumper was damaged. Pulled it off. I still ended up buying the bumper because they sold it to me really cheaply, and I could harvest things like some of the trim pieces and the brackets and the parking sensors that I need. So I ended up dragging that stuff home. Anyways, not the lights, but the busted bumper. And so now I just have more broken things, and I don't have a fixed car yet. But I also haven't gotten paid by insurance yet, and they're dragging their feet. And I'm telling them that they can pay me. But I've also told them this whole time I'm expecting to collect loss of use because I'm not taking a rental car. And so it's been about 21 days now. It's been 3 weeks.
Freaking insane.
And so I will I'll collect like $900 in loss of use by the end of this. And so that's fun. Otherwise, I did some tiny bit of work on the sandbar to get it to RADwood. It lived to tell the tale. I got to be a photo booth. That was fun. And then, that's mostly all I have done. How about you, Mr. Wick?
So taking our last episode to heart about reducing our fleets, I actually sold 2 cars in one weekend. I got rid of my 92 Mazda Miata and my Nissan 300ZX out the door for asking price in the hands of enthusiasts. They lasted mere hours for sale. Really cool 300ZX guy actually flew in from LA, grabbed the car, drove it back to LA. Same day with no AC on a 106-degree weather day.
That's why you got T-tops. Lube up with some heavy zinc.
That black interior. But anyway, so cool. And like I said, man, fleet, we're getting rid of the fleet, man. So 2 cars in 1 week. Sale. That's a pretty good deal. Happy with that. Actual working on cars, time's been limited, but I did get to replace the headliner on the Volvo behind me, the T30 T5 R Design. It's not the whole headliner. It was just the headliner aspect of the cover for the sunroof. So it's a separate plastic piece, and you'd think you could just drop it down. No, sir. You got to pull that glass out of the top of the car, and that's a real pain in the butt. Anytime you mess with sunroofs, like if you don't do it right, I've seen people break sunroofs all the time. So you got to get the glass out and then take that out. And then, man, it was harder than doing a roof because you have to do all these little like tight adjustments, right? Because it's got a hand grip. It's a weird shape, and it's got to fit in a narrow spot, right? Because your sunroof, even your shade cover, slides between your roof and the metal of your car. So, dude, it took a long time, but it came out perfect. It was just sagging enough. And people don't understand is it's not the glue that fails. The glue holds for infinity. The foam separates from the material. And so no matter how much extra, people think they can spray extra glue up there and stick it up and not have it look like dog shit. And it always looks like dog shit.
It always looks like dog meat.
Yeah. You have to strip the old foam off and start from scratch. And I'm getting pretty good at this, man, after doing the Mini and then this thing. So get it all back together. It looks OEM, looks factory, works great. Bam.
You ramping up to do the Blazer headliner then?
I'm gonna do that.
Hell yeah!
I'm unstoppable. I'm like a roof liner guy now. Added to my.
I know a guy knows a guy. Yeah. Well, very good. So I'm glad. I'm sad that 2 cars are gone, but it's more towards the mission, and it's just going to give you more room to buy a C36 or whatever we decide to go from week to week. So I applaud you in that, and I applaud you listening at home and possibly watching.
Yeah.
Hello.
Big thanks, guys.
Yeah, so thanks for all of that. Keep listening where you get your podcast content. Chadwick, where can the good people track you down?
Auto Obsessive. Yeah, and definitely harass me. Sexually, please. Auto Obsessive Garage, mostly on YouTube. Rescues, restorations, and reviews. And I'm also on Instagram. Frank, where can the folks follow you for your socials?
Oh boy. The stalkers can track me down. That's going to be at the photographer's garage or garage, perhaps. And that's mostly on the Instagram. Sometimes I get lost and end up putting just terrible things on YouTube. So look for that there. Otherwise, keep finding us here. We're at APA Podcast on the Instagram that we never post on, but mostly come and listen along. And thanks for continuing to do that. Until next time.
That's a good phrase. Let's go with that. Continue tuning. We'll just continue tuning.
Continue tuning. Well, you're already doing that to your package, so just keep tuning that bad boy up.
Mostly
And,
boring it. Some stuff.
Definitely going. Sound on. All
Thanks
right,
again, guys. Catch you next time.
Bye.